So now we'll begin with the Manjushri Prayer. Lama Dangumbo Jamba Yang Lan Chanza Lo Kange London Jinyen Jenda Nidra Nanda Rasa Jinyen Deng Jijen Zijre Nijen Dugar Lebam Zen Konda Zibi Tenore Mare Mendo Dunga Jizre Dozo Kunla Pujin Das Yen La Duju Yonde Zon Dudre Jedro Nyemo Nyelo Deje Jadro Doze Jen Mare Menzen Dunga Nyugo Jinyen Jenze Ralde Nam Denyen Dajen Saje Dazen Yenden Lezon Jaze Tuve Go Jadan Jadan Chunyen Jende Dale Menzen Jambe Yon De Mara Bazana 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 Umara Bazana De Mara 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 Bazana Omara Pazanande, 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 Omara Bhajana de Omara Bhajana de Omara Bhajana de Zende Je Jera Vizre Dale de Mom Barazan Kadan Denje Jonlo Tobaye Lode Bobe Nawa Sandu Zun Zonjen Jingo Redan Jingura Janzen Janda Kaden zunda manji papalo jinji jinja visha jindu jimame balanguira dundu de gozungu baji bengo nen chanza jinja zuji ho shewa nen zara tamjidu tuje jesu zimbaran zendu zo kongi sha zondo ye mingum gesar zimbe nonda shin zimbe zive zindu mbarvendu kunmi gindu zinjur tuje dama gune shumbe jiden sunje kunja be duombe mokar be shabe tirinda le yanzuru shon Zolim Bime Dombo Zerenje Nandu Ranjun Jedu Senzo Beje Denjum Barwe Bema Junen Dale Yanzurjon Bumbolo Dwarian Dewadan Tome Nyen Cholan Jujinda Jujun Janam Nyemba Ozo Zamlin Jinju Nanjinda Ejon Kongre de Goren Jingu Nyimbugo Yenden Gunjunga Shazardo Nyimbi Denzi Bebe Nanjurba Chime Vezreja Jenda Ejon, Redon Jamba Junon Jinale, Gombelon Le Popeder Jedol, Londo Jensen Jensen Wanjura Mipam Jambi Anjeda Ejon. Namonguru, Jinim Bamendanji, Jezala Gunjaran Jundu Jimbetin, Tujigala Gamendanawa, Polden La Meja Jenda Ejon. Kongidala Ribalobadan, Dojitin Jumenga Nolazo, Labazadan Ungurushin Muji Tinjen la menda e jon, yende sanje kunda nyamna ya, kaden sanje kunel habi gwen, sawe la me shala zo ande, pason dove lam nan che la njur, kondo jujur dongi jidena, ande je lo marjur ba kanzo da, tender dambe ju je jar bebe, sembar deva da dandir je je, namo aryan tamba, lai ke dan lo dan jinge, ndubum da dame ke nam dan, doa gunji danam jizambar, Tamje gedo zozor de gyurji. Manjurando anam kadanyam besim jen tamje namdol dengi deval aname bayan da panzo bisanji jingu hanum burchela chine jam gubrsha. Dei chedo tikwa jimbe shonglo chanju simba. Geze shiwa la teni jizebe chanju simbi choba lan juba teni tsushindu sene nyamsu langwa gyo nyamdo samba chanju chodo tu jeba danche de sensal. So first, to have a right motivation to listen this Dharma teaching, by arising the awakened mind that, um, for the one's dearest, such as like a mother's and each and every sentient beings, and try to look the same as one's dearest mother, and then the best way to pay kind back uh, uh, to them is to free them from the karma and it cause the afflictive emotions, and then to lead them to complete enlightenment. And for this reason, I'm going to listening this Mahayana scripture composed by Shantideva, The Way of Bodhisattva's Life, and then I will uh, implement it with that kind of intention. I listen this teaching. And beside that, and then the manner or the conduct while listening Dharma teaching should be prepared in this way. The listen carefully in an excellent way and try to implant all the meaning and as well as the words of these teachings. So with this, now we complete prepare to listen Dharma teaching. And then the actual Dharma teaching is that we are studying here the way of Bodhisattva's life, which has a 10 chapter with the 4 main theme. Among the 4, uh, the first 2 we complete, that how to receive Bodhisattva's vow and how to maintain without transgressions, by first chapter to 6 that covered these 2 main themes. And then now we are here in the third theme, which is the how that one can improve or develop the furthers one's own this Mahayana practice or the Bodhicitta, how one can further develop that the relative Bodhicitta and ultimate Bodhicitta, uh, both this relative and ultimate bodhicitta to increase or developed, and what is required is the diligence, and then to develop the uh, relative bodhicitta, and then the 8th chapter, the meditation, and then particularly the ultimate bodhicitta, how to develop, guided by 9th chapter, the wisdom. So here we are here at the first, that to in short this all 3 chapters 7, 8, 9, it's guiding us to how one can further develop this bodhicitta. For that, these are the 3 main uh, conditions, or 3 main, what you call a game changer. Like these 3 things required: diligence, meditation, and wisdom, or the conviction. And among these 3, the first that we are studying here, how one should one can develop one's diligence, so we can develop our Mahayana path, or Bodhisattva's way of life, or the Bodhicitta. It's whatever we call it, the same meaning. And to do that, we need to develop the diligence within oneself. And in order to develop the diligence, then what we need is that first, this 7th chapter, uh, the main theme of the 7th chapter is introducing the entity of both the diligence and then its contraries, which is the laziness, and then the distinguish or the what do you call extinguish, or how to say, distinguish that within a laziness there are how many types of laziness are there, introducing kind of like a thoroughly. And then on the other hand, the allies, or the support to develop the diligence, what are the requires, the contraries and allies, right? Allies, contrary and allies, or the supporting support allies. Contrary is this something which obscuring or disturbing, and then allies are the something that supporting and boosting to develop our diligence. So these is the three main theme of this seventh chapter, the diligence, that introducing the entity of diligence, the diligence itself, and then what is the contrary of diligence, and what are the allies of diligence. So the contrary of diligence that the Shantideva already introduced it, we already studied that those three laziness, and together with the how we should deal with those three types of laziness. Um, Two of them completely gone. And then we are here in the third, how to deal with this third, or actually it is the categorized into the second one, that which is the laziness of clinging to unwholesome actions. So how to deal with it, by after recognizing that, how to deal with it, then kind of like the relying on those allies, the allies of the diligence, which is um, the stanza 16, and described the main theme of this seventh chapter, and as well as the stanza, what do you call it, 30, stanza 33, 32, yeah, stanza 32, the specifying that this chapters, it's the, what do you call it, this stanza 32 is the brief introduction of alliance of diligence, for the diligence, in order to increase or improve diligence. And what we need is this six things, which are in a 16 stanza, it's saying marshal all four powers. And then what it says that the but marshal all your power, make an effort, be the master of yourself. And these six things here, a little bit detail in this stanza 32, which is that how they're saying that therefore leaving everything that is adverse to it, I will labor to increase my diligence through aspiration and self-confidence, relinquishment and joy, and then by strength of earnest application and exertion of control. That's how they translated this one, the last two things. So anyhow, so in Tibetan we call this Pung Shidang Top Ni. So 4 troops and 2 power. 4 troops and 2 power are the allies for the diligence. In order to improve diligence, and we need to rely on those 6 allies. If anyone who have all these 6 things within themselves, and definitely they can boost or improve their diligence. Means on the other hand, by having all these 6 things can improve our diligence, at the same time it can lay it low or extinguish the laziness of clinging unwholesome actions. To deal with the laziness of clinging unwholesome actions, what we need to do is that we need to improve these 6 things within oneself so we can improve our diligence. When we improve our diligence, that even this second type of laziness, the laziness of clinging to unwholesome actions, will going to be laid low or eventually eliminate completely or extinguish completely. For that, we need to train ourselves or practice ourselves to gain all these 6 things. So among these 6 things, the aspirations that we covered already, and then now today we are here, this second, that the pride or the self-confidence, they translated self-confidence, and then another name of that self-confidence, it's pride. Pride itself is also, in Tibetan we use the pride as well. The second troop or the power is the troop is the pride. That self-confidence, it's like a, I think, kind of like a little bit better word. That's why I think they're using self-confidence. But anyhow, the pride. But pride itself, as we discussed a little bit yesterday, the pride, that sudden pride, which is needed to boost our courageous, to boost our kind of like an enthusiastic, the interest. So that we are right now trying to training that how one can gain and improve this pride or the self-confidence. And then by kind of like that we covered some of them, then that Shantideva introduced it in this in a stanza. What is there? Where is it? Stanza 46, right? Stanza 46. Half after this, after second line of the third line of the stanza 46. From here, and it describing that how one should train, practice to have it, this pride or the self-confidence within oneself. And then briefly, it is introduced here, and with the method state in the Vajra Devja, I will train in confidence, assurance, in short. And then to really to have this pride in a very thorough way. So, and then Shantideva, how to say, introducing the, what do you call it? Subdivision of pride. So subdivision of pride, that what kind of pride it's allowed to have. And then he's introducing thoroughly with the introducing 3 types of subdivision of pride. So the 3 subdivision of pride is the that in this stanza, what do you call it? Where is it? Stanza 40, no, sorry, stanza 49, yes, stanza 49, that action and the afflictions and ability. 3 things, these are the 3 subdivisions, that what kind of pride is something allowed to have it at this moment, in order to improve our diligence to practice this Mahayana path or the Bodhisattva's way of life, or improve the Bodhicitta, this pride. So yesterday we covered the first type of pride, the pride in actions. What does it mean? It is introduced it. Then now, today we are here in the second type of pride, the second subdivision, that is called the what do you call it? The Nubingajal in Tibetan, which is the pride, the how to be a pride of capable, or how they translated before was, isn't it, the ability, the pride of ability. So what does it mean, the pride of ability? Then here today we are studying this one. So it is saying the Shiwi Druldang Tejurna Kayam Kading Taburchu Kalde Dani Nyamchuna Tungwa Chungwa Nebrashes. And this 52 stanza, and then the next, the 53, half of the 53 stanza, Shumche Tsolwa Dorwala Pongle Tarba Yodam Jis. Until this, the one stanza and two line, the until here, first it is introducing the faults of not having that pride of ability, prideness of capable, prideness of abilities. Yes, the fault. And that, so this is something telling us to train to have that pride of abilities, right? Pride of ability. So why we should have pride of ability? Then introducing the faults of not having it, and then the benefits of having it, and then actual what is the action, what is exact action called the pride of ability, introducing in this way. So this is something very common. First, we need to understand whatever the product, its faults and its benefit, and then introduce its own itself, its own entities. And then people will decide whether this is right to have or not, right? In the same way here. So first the what do you call it? The first stanza and the second half of the stanza is introducing the faults of not having this the what do you call it? The pride of abilities. That how they translated. When they find a dying serpent, even crows behave like a soaring eagles. This is an example. Therefore, if I am weak and feeble-hearted, even little faults will strike and injure me. And then, but if depressed, I give up trying. How can I gain freedom from my abject state? From my abject state. Shumje Zolwan Dowarla Pongle Tarba Yodam Jis. Yeah, until here. So now here, what does it mean that even a little faults will strike and injure me? So the first two line is the example. Example, this is very easy to understand, right? When they means the crow, right? Crows. When crow, they find a dying serpent, like a dying snake, right? The cope of the snake. Then even crows behave like a soaring eagles, like a, maybe I don't know what the way he's acting. Actually, if the serpent or the snake is alive, crow cannot attract the snake at all. But the soaring, they kind of like an eagle, yes, they can still attract, regardless of dead snake or live snake, doesn't matter. So this metaphor, what's the meaning of showing is that, therefore, if I am weak and feeble-hearted, the weak and feeble-hearted, it's like a serpent, the dying serpent. And if I behave like a dying serpent, if I be like a dying serpent, weak and feeble-hearted, then even the little faults are like a crows. will strike and injure me. So what does that mean? What do you mean? That's the little, even a little force. For instance, like all these 10 non-virtuous actions, from killing to the, how to say, until the wrong view. And then also this four black uh, dharma, which is like the interferes or disturbs to develop and to have bodhicitta within oneself, and then so on, like a stinginess and the what do you call the not the tulchal, it's called like a hmm, this is all considering like a engaging into those 10 non-virtuous actions and being stinginess and the um, being short temper and laziness and distracted mind, and then not having wisdoms. So these are all the faults, right? Faults. So among those, like actually, like these 10 non-virtuous actions, like those, like for instance, like lying or divisive talks. Actually, these are compare within among the faults, among the negative actions. These are very little kind of like a, what do you call minor. Yeah, these are minor. But even this minors like that, this even little force will strike and injure me. That's what it means. So how it does the strike and injure me by this even a little force, because that we ourselves is being very weak, that not having that pride of abilities, right? Pride of abilities, that we are kind of like a giving up that, oh, I may not be able to avoid the engaging into divisive talk. I may not be able to engage in the, I may not be able to abandon or avoid the engaging into divisive talks, actions, divisive talk, or the harsh word, gossiping, and then just merely willing to harm, actual not harm, like merely willing to harm, and merely being a covetousness, and then merely being a raising some sort of like a doubt without putting into actions within our mental. So these are, even these, how it injured me, because by not having this pride of abilities, that we are looking ourselves down, that I have no abilities to deal with it, that that lacking of that pride of abilities, and even this tiny that we will not going to able to overcome. And then any of these negative actions, even though a little, but once it um, one once we are powered by these actions or these habit, and then the consequences of that will going to be ripen on us. That's how this will going to be strike and injure. The consequences of all this cannot be avoided unless that I have this pride of abilities, that myself, that, oh, these are nothing, it's very easy that I can avoid, I can abandon. So when I have that strength, this is actually strengthened. When I have that strength, then yes, this, even this small things cannot really disturbs me. If I don't have that strength, then even this little tiny habits will going to be repeat in my behave and my attitude, and then that will going to be overpowering or controlling me. that kind of like a forcing me to engage into it day-to-day life. Like all these 10 non-virtuous actions, normally we can put it like from the killing to the wrong view. These are kind of like a, we can, in a one hand, we can say like this little faults, even little faults will strike and injure me, right? Does it make sense? When we are lacking, or when we do not have the pride of ability that I can abandon this, I can avoid this. And rather than that, we're thinking, oh, I'm really incapable, I'm not inability, what do you call it? Unability. Yeah, unability, disability, right? Disability, yeah. I am disability. When we have that kind of mindset, this is all in a mindset, okay? When we have that kind of mindset, then we will going to be controlled by these habits, these kind of like a patterns. These patterns will going to be overpowered to oneself, controlling us, because we do not have that mindset that I will be able to handle this. I am disabled. That we, from the beginning in our mind, I'm thinking that I am disabled to deal with it. I am disabled to avoid engaging into these 10 non-virtuous actions. When we have that mindset, then that is like a weak and feeble-hearted. And if oneself become weak and feeble-hearted, then even these little faults, like these little faults, will going to strike and injure. And that will going to be, how to say, that pattern will going to be overpowered to oneself. That's how strike and injured. That's what it means. Then continues to next two line. Shumche Tsolwan Dorwarla Pongle Tarba Yudam is that, but if depressed, right? Depressed, and I give up trying, then how can I gain freedom from my abject state? Pongle Tarba Yudam is. So if oneself give up and depressed, right? Depressed, kind of like a discourage ourselves, and the give up, putting effort, okay, putting effort. Then the what is discourage about what? Discourage. So discourage about those, all this kind of like the practice or the implement those aspiration bodhicitta, application bodhicitta. So the aspiration bodhicitta, kind of like a four immeasurable training practice, and then application bodhicitta, like a generosity, morality, patience, diligence, and the meditation, the wisdom, this six pranchana paramita training. These are the something that we should kind of like implement, or kind of like take it, right? And then on the other hand, what we should abandon or the avoid are the, as we studied this before, such as like what do you call those four black dharmas and the 18 root downfall, or the adding another, the losing aspiration and application bodhicitta, 20, okay, let's say the 20 root downfall of the bodhisattva's vow. So this like the 20 root downfall, either we call 20 root downfall or the 18 root downfall. It can be summarized into one root downfall and four root downfall, as we discussed before. These are things. And then the four black dharmas. These are some things that we should avoid, we should abandon, or we should kind of like extinguish. So those aspiration bodhicitta, four immeasurable, application bodhicitta, six pranchana paramita training are something that we should implement. And then on the other hand, the four black dharma and 18 root downfall, these are something we should try to avoid, abandon, being a Mahayana practitioner, right? Being a bodhisattva or being a Mahayana practitioner. And these are the main responsible that we should train ourselves to adapt one thing and reject the other thing, right? Reject those things. So here, shumche means here that, but if depressed or discourage oneself that I will be able to adapt these things, and I will be able to reject these things. Okay, that is again the mindset, right? From the mindset that discouraging oneself that I won't be able to adapt this, I won't be able to reject this, that kind of discouragement. This kind of discouragement is considering as a not having a pride of ability. See? So, and then kind of like give up trying. So the give up trying means not having a pride of ability. So people who are lacking the pride of ability means that having a sense of give up training on those, and having a sense of discouragement oneself to adapt this aspiration and application bodhicitta, and then avoid the four black dharmas and 18 root downfall. In short, the people who are person who lack this kind of, the person who do discourage and give up trying, and pongle tharba yodam shis, then how can I gain freedom from my abject state? Actually, in Tibetan here saying pongle means, and then that type of person definitely will going to be loose. There's a no win. There's a no gain. There's a no kind of like the what do you call it, accomplishment. That's what it means. Pongle tharba yodam chi. So until now, this two line, it is mainly introducing the faults of lacking the pride of abilities. Okay, and then next two line, it's introduced, Shantideva introducing, on the other hand, benefit or the potential of having that pride of abilities. Pride of abilities. That how he is saying, ngajal tsolwa kepe ni chenpo yi kyang tubarkas here. But if I, on the other hand, if I stand my ground with the proud resolve, it will be hard for even great foes to attack me. Right? So this two line is introducing the potential or the benefit of having the sense of having the pride of ability. Okay, pride of ability. So how the person who have this pride of ability, and they will going to put effort to deal with any kind of situations. Here it's regarding to those above I mentioned. So people who have the person who have a pride of ability, they will put effort for adapt all this aspiration and application bodhicitta's training, such as the four immeasurable training, six pranchana paramita training, in short. If we elaborate generosity, morality, we go like that. In short, 6 prajna paramita training, right? They will going to adapt all this within themselves. And then they will going to put effort to avoid, how to say, transgressing all this four dharma, four black dharmas, as well as the 18 root downfall or the 20 root downfall of the bodhisattva svabha. They will going to put effort for this. That when someone with the pride of ability and put effort, then it is saying, even then it will be hard for even great force to attract me. Then it is saying, even though this root downfall even will going to be, how to say, the great downfall is the little falls are, I described it as those common 10 non-virtuous actions. And then now here, the even great falls are now like a, what do you call, a transgressing aspiration bodhicitta, or transgressing as the application bodhicitta, or transgressing any of those 18 root downfall, right? So, and then, or engaging into those 4 black dharmas. These are the kind of like we can categorize as a great falls. Even person kind of like a committed those great falls, and then even these great falls will not going to be able to attack on me, means the consequences that we may not experience. Because now here, what it's saying, this the above line, but if I stand my ground with a proud resolve, right? This means that whatever we committed or whatever we transgressed, our root downfall or aspiration bodhicitta, application bodhicitta, whatsoever, and then if the person keep that stand of pride of ability and then put effort, then what the person will going to be, even they committed those root downfall, and later they will going to confess which are necessary to confess, and then they will going to rebuild or take commit back whatever the necessary needs to be take commit back. By doing that, even though they committed those great faults, but those great faults, consequences of those may not going to be experienced. That's what it means, that not going to attract me. Even those great faults, say, it will be hard for even great faults to attack me. That's what it means. Okay, so the person who have this pride of ability, then they won't give up. Even they committed so many misdeed or the wrong action in the past, but they will not going to give up because they have sense of pride of abilities, right? When the person have a sense of the pride of ability, those person will never going to give up, and somehow they will going to stand back. They will going to resolve all the problems. That's the benefit of having this pride of abilities. So that, yes, this pride of ability will boost us or improve our diligence towards this positive, towards to keep us in a always in a optimistic, right? Keep us in a, always in a optimistic, even though we occur something, we transgressed at something, root downfall, but still they will not going to give up because they have this pride of abilities. So this is the now. the benefit or the potential of having the pride of ability, how it is, how to say, not let us give up and boost our effort to further continue to work for it. So that's we introduce this faults and potential. The fault of not having the pride of ability, and then the benefit of having pride of abilities complete first. And then the next stanza, 대외 셈니 땜바이 뚱와 남니 쇼음자데 다니 뚱웨 팜제나 감숨결드 시게주르스. So therefore, with a steadfast heart, I will get the better of my weakness. But if my failing get the upper hand, my wish to overcome the triple world is laughable indeed. So now it is saying, so after understanding this faults and benefit of having and not having the pride of abilities, so after understanding this, then one should maintain the firmly that with the steadfast heart, means that keep it that pride of ability very stable, right? Steadfast with it. In this, keeping this steadfast, the pride of ability, I will get the better of my weaknesses. Is it? I will able to diminish all my weaknesses, or all my faults, whatever. Even though I committed all this faults, but I can be able to diminish all this by keeping that. But on the other hand, instead keeping that pride of ability and being steadfast, right? Steadfast with it. Rather than that, if I allow those faults to overpower me, okay, control me, but if my failing gets the upper hand, right? If I let defeat by those faults, by not having this pride of abilities, then what I am, those wishes, like those wishes that we may have, like wish to overcome the triple world, like liberate myself, it's become laughable indeed. If you really wish to overcome the triple world, means to liberate oneself from samsara, at least you need that pride of abilities. Without having that pride of abilities, and then wishing to overcome the triple world, right? Triple world, or liberate from samsara, it becomes the laughable task. It is just joke. That your task will become, your wish is just nothing. And then therefore now, here this stanza now, 55, exactly introducing what it called the pride of abilities. So the pride of ability is called this one. Dagi kunle gyalshate, dale suyan gyalmija, gyalwa senge se dagi ngajal dila never shas. I will be victor over all, and nothing shall prevail. Is it prevail? prevail, okay, and nothing shall prevail and bring me down. The offspring of the lion, the conqueror, should constantly abide in this self-confidence, or this self-confident, or this pride of ability. This is what you call pride of ability. This self-confident is known as a pride of ability. Okay, here introducing this, the pride of ability itself. So yesterday we gone through like this. So the task that I will do it, I will alone do it, right? And then today, on top of that, what another thing is required is the ability, the pride of ability. Okay, not just I will do it and I will alone do it, but also having I can do it now. This is something I can do it, in short. It is kind of like a Chandideva was telling us to have that I can do it. Okay, not just I want to do it, I wish to do it, I will do it, but tell oneself that I can do it. I can do this. This is something, what do you call it? We normally use this so much in our mundane accomplishment, but we use very rare in a spiritual accomplishment. When it comes to the spiritual accomplishment, then we go like, oh, this is so difficult. The compassion is very difficult to have. That's you see, from the beginning we try to give up. From the beginning we try to not to have this pride of abilities upon spiritual training. And then sometimes you may say, oh, this Mahayana path is so difficult. And then, oh, Vajrayana, oh, this is now, when people thinking this way, the person who think that way, they have this mindset of sense of giving up, sense of willing to remove that pride of abilities. They do not want to keep that pride of abilities. But when they comes to the mundane accomplishment, then they have this very strong pride of abilities. So you see, this pride of ability. So we need to have that sense that I will be victor over all, and nothing shall prevail and bring me down. See, that sense. That sense is called the offspring of the lion, the conqueror, means the victorious one, the Buddha. It is refers to Buddha, okay? Offspring means that the bodhisattvas who is following his path, it's the offspring, right? The offspring of the lion. Lion refers here to the Buddha, okay? Or the conqueror, whatever we say. So the offspring of the lion or the offspring of the conqueror should constantly abide in this. What is this? I will be victor over all, and nothing shall prevail and bring me down. That is what it called self-confident. That is what it called the pride of abilities. So this is now pride of abilities here, introducing here, Shantideva. That kind of sense, we need it in order to develop our diligence. And by developing our diligence, what we are trying to accomplish actually is the improve bodhisattva, the way of bodhisattva's life, right? Ultimately, we are trying to achieve enlightenment through developing bodhisattva. And how to develop bodhisattva? Through diligence. And how to develop diligence? Through developing this sense of the pride of abilities, right? Pride of actions, pride of abilities. So this is what we call pride of abilities. So I will be victor over all here. What does that call here refers? That overall, according to this Mahayana path, mainly this over, it refers to things that which we should eliminate or lay it low and eliminate eventually, which is the karma and afflictive emotions. That over is victor over, the over refers to this. And nothing shall prevail and bring me down. So this nothing shall prevail and bring me down is what does it mean? It is talking about, in short, according to the Mahayana practitioner, being the practitioner, spiritual practitioner of Mahayana path. Our main responsible is not to prevail and bring me down by 3 poisons and 5 poisons and stinginess and those emotions, in short. Not to, nothing shall prevail and bring me down. That's what it means. So that kind of pride of ability, see, the pride of ability. The offspring of the lion, the conqueror, should constantly abide, right, in this self-confidence. That's what we call the pride of ability, okay, here. Now, even though we use the same pride, the name, the common emotion, that's pride is normally we known as one of the afflictive emotions from the 5 poison, right? But here, using the same word, but the meaning is different here. That we are having pride to fight with the pride. We are keeping pride ourselves to fight with the pride, fight back to pride. Pride, it is like a very much like pride can be destroyed by pride. We should have sudden this pride, or we can use another name that here they're using often, quite often, self-confidence, right? Self-confidence. The pride of ability, actually, in short, the pride of action, pride of ability. So then pride of afflictive emotions, right? Pride of afflictive emotion. These are the 3 that Shantideva, the earlier he described. We should have this encouragement, pride, right? Short. And then how we should distinguish the common pride and this pride. And then he is distinguishing thoroughly that how we should distinguish between this afflictive emotion pride and this like a the positive pride, right? Let's say positive pride to boost our diligence. This is what it means now here. And then droga ngajal jichomde mongba ngajal chen mains. Nyumong ngajal chen mains. Ngajal chen drai wang mindro. Ngajal chen drai wang mindro. Tedak ngajal trawang yur. And then the next one is those whom arrogance destroys are thus defiled. They lack self-confidence. Those who have true confidence escape the fall, while others fall into the power of an evil pride. Now they use this evil pride, right? Evil pride versus self-confident, right? Versus arrogance. Yeah, they use first arrogance, right? Those whom arrogance destroy destroys are thus defiled. No, not sorry. Confident. Yeah, they use the self-confidence, right? They lack self-confidence. Those who have true confidence escape the fall, while others fall into the power of an evil pride. Now, this evil pride versus pride of abilities. So both are very similar mental, very similar the what you call activity, right? Very similar activity, very similar mental state. So okay. So the person who is overpowered by this evil pride, it is called afflictive emotions. That does not call the pride of abilities. So the person who have a pride of ability, they will not going to overpowered by evil pride. And those who are controlled or overpowered by evil pride, and they are, how to say, controlling by emotion. Those person who controlled by emotions, this like evil pride, so the person who have a pride of ability will not going to powered by evil pride. And those who are powered by or overpowered by evil pride, and these evil pride is goes like they controlled by our negative emotions. That's what it means. Those whom arrogance destroy are thus defiled. These are defiled, right? Defiled, which means something negative. This arrogance is defiled. The person who have this arrogance, which is categorized into defiled, they lack the self-confidence. They lack the pride of abilities. Those who have true confidence, or those who have true pride of abilities, they will going to escape the fall. Okay, they will going to escape the fall means they will not going to overpowered by the evil pride, emotions, negative emotions. While others who carrying this like the ordinary pride, like a negative pride, evil pride, fall into the power of an evil pride. And then, now from this next stanza, it is introducing what happens if we let overpowered by our this evil pride, right? The negative pride, evil pride. Then Shantideva introducing the consequences of letting oneself overpowered by evil pride is going to be like this. Nyomo ngajal gi king ni ngendor ngajal gi teachings. Mi gaten chombada shenji sesai dendani lemba meduk nyamchonda tanje duni nyebar gyur. So until here, tamche duni nyebar gyur. Like this 57th stanza and the 58th stanza, two line, the first two line. This again, 6th line, Shantideva introducing Again, the force of letting oneself overpowered by evil pride, the negative emotion, pride. What happens if we let it be? Then Shantideva was saying, okay, so first let me read this one here, how they translate it. The 57th stanza. When arrogance inflates the mind, it draw it down to a state of misery or ruin happiness should human birth be gained. This is, I feel, a little strange here, translation, but I don't know. Thus, one is born a slave, dependent for one's sustenance, or feeble-minded, ugly, without strength, the butt and laughing stock of everyone. So until here, Shantideva introducing, what if I let overpower myself by evil pride, right? Evil pride. Not the pride of ability, but the evil pride. This now really Shantideva wants to trying to distinguish between the pride of ability versus evil pride. So the pride of ability will not going to bring these consequences. But on the other hand, the pride of evil pride will bring all these consequences. Many consequences he is describing by letting overpowered by this evil pride. Right? So it is saying in the 57th stanza first, when arrogance inflates the mind, right? When arrogance inflates the mind, so when our mind is filled with this the evil pride, the arrogance, right? When arrogance inflates the mind, what it brings the consequences, and then it's saying it draw it down to a state of misery. That's how they translated here this one. Ngendor ngajal ji teachings. So, okay, here this is showing so vast, what do you call it, important message. That first consequences, here they translated or, right? It is not or. It is not talking about, Shantideva was not talking about or. It is just, he's describing consequences. How many different consequences could experience by letting overpowered by evil pride, right? Controlled by evil pride. The first consequences that person could be experienced is it draws it down to a state of misery. They translate it that way, but in Tibetan, ngendur ngajal ji teaching. Ngendur means three lower realms. It will lead us to three lower realms. That will going to be the one consequences of letting controlled by evil pride to oneself. Anyone who let controlled evil pride by oneself, and these consequences could be experienced. That this pride will lead oneself into three lower realms. Because that pride, that arrogance, right? That arrogance. Yes, definitely. It will force us to engage into many negative karmas, many negative actions, many negative activities, isn't it? This is very obvious. The person who is so arrogant, that person definitely will going to engage into many negative activities. And by this arrogance is triggering so many other emotions. This arrogance could triggers the hatred. This arrogance could triggers the jealousy. This arrogance could triggers the slandering others, look down upon others, right? This arrogance, when you see somebody higher than you, you may jealous because of this arrogance. Now, if you don't have arrogance, what you have, you're free. Even you see somebody, how to say, more than you, who have a whatsoever better than you, better looking than you, better finance than you, better supporter than you, better reputation than you. As long as if I don't have arrogance, whatever I have reputation, whatever I have finance, whatever I have looking, whatever I have the, I will I will just enjoy myself, right? Even if I'm not being able to rejoice after them, but I will not going to generate jealous, hate it after them because I do not have arrogance, right? But when I have, as soon as I generate this arrogance, then this arrogance becomes conditions to trigger the other emotions. When I see someone who is better than me, then I start jealousing and I start hating that person. And then at the same time, on the other hand, as soon as when I have this arrogance, then when I see somebody kind of like a lower than me, like worse than me, then I will start to look them down and then disdain them, bully them, or ignore them, slander them, right? Humiliating them, right? That's happening. That's happening in our day to day life. It is not something very hidden, it is very obvious. See, that's why it is saying that first consequences, Chandideva describing when someone have this evil pride, the arrogance, they translated arrogance, the evil pride, arrogance, then that will going to be, he's just trying to making very shrink, very give you, okay, it will lead you lower rungs, finish. How it will going to lead us lower rung? And then by all these things, when we scrutinize, when we analyze how this arrogance could lead us to the three lower realms, because this arrogance could trigger many other emotions, jealous, hatred, right? And the, what do you call ignorance, absolutely, and desire. And this actually, all these five afflictive emotions are very much supporting each other. Actually, it is very much supporting each other. When someone have one, it brings all other four. They are so cooperate working, very well cooperate and united. Yeah, they are very united. That we need to be very careful. That is why Shantideva was saying that the first consequences, it could lead us towards lower realm by generating, triggering all these emotions. And when we trigger all these emotions, this will going to be force us to engage into many negative activities. By engaging into it, yes, there you go. You're already accumulating the cause of lower realms. You are kind of like a gathering the source of lower realms. That's what it means here. And they translated this one here. It draws it down to the state of misery. Does this translation help you to understand the three lower realms? Is it helping? Okay, then good. And then here that, and then or ruin happiness should human birth be gained. What is this? It is not or, actually from the beginning it is not or. So the other consequences Shantideva introducing by having this could be also ruin the happiness, right? Ruin the happiness. Should human birth be gained? What is that? Yeah, what is that? What does it mean?
It means should. It means that, like, it's almost impossible for human birth to be gained.
Again, human birth?
Yes, yeah. It draws it down to states of misery. So in a state of misery, you're not going into those realms. And so it's like, or ruins happiness. So should human birth be gained? So it's talking about your rebirth. You've got this state you're in now.
Yeah, that is why I
future state.
Yeah, that is why
Human,
that is why, yes, now I got you. That is why I felt very uncomfortable this translation. Or ruin happiness should human birth be gained. It will going to ruin happiness to gain the human birth again in the future. That should not be. It's ruin happiness. Okay. So
happiness is gone.
okay, so it is like in Tibetan would be saying mi gadun chombadam. Mi gadun chombadam means it will going to destroy the human's happiness. It will going to destroy the human's pleasant. The person who carries this evil pride, they will going to destroy their own human pleasant. That's what it means. Okay. So this is a second consequences. Another consequences which could lead by letting overpower oneself by evil pride could be experience this another consequences, which is the destroying the human's pleasant. Here he is summarizing very short, boom boom, and then how now we are going to raise definitely question how, right? This is very makes sense. That the person who holds this evil pride, they will definitely lack the free feeling. Okay, so the free feeling means open-minded is not there. The free feeling is not there when one holds this evil pride, isn't it now? Even small things now. This is every day happening in our life. For instance, that when I assume myself, this my dress is the best. My dress is the branded, the best quality branded dress. And then also whatever the things that I am carrying, bag, phone, right? This is also like evil pride, right? Evil pride. And then likewise also that thinking oneself is, oh, I am so important. Now, this mental way of thinking is exactly contradicting with the modern society, okay? It will not, these all the, what do you call it, the education, it's not really matching with the modern academic knowledge. Yes, I know it will not going to match. It is rather than matching, it will going to say exactly the opposite. So the normally, yes, we can assume oneself is the most important person. That's what our teacher tell us to carry from the childhood, right? I need to protect myself. I is so important. That's how we guide the children in school, which is the evil pride now, in short. They putting the evil pride in our mind. And we are happily accepting that evil pride because it is really much, it is really feels that it is needed. And without knowing that it will going to destroy my even a temporary human's pleasant. Likewise, that having this evil pride, like I am the I have a best body or good looking. I am the most good looking person among this community group. And likewise, I am the wealthiest in a community, in a province, in a country, in a world. And likewise, I am the most intelligent person, most knowledgeable person among the community. Again, same among the city, within a province, within a country, within a world, maybe. Like these kind of tiny, tiny things, we always carry that evil pride that I have a best bag in the town. I have a best phone. I have a best computer. I have a best, I don't know, house. I have a best car. I have a best property. I have a best food that I am eating, that I am the one who able to eat the most organic food in a city. What I'm saying is this kind of evil pride, when person carries that, that really ruins the happiness. This is quite often happening that the person who is so arrogant, so proud themselves, very big ego, right? They don't know how to along with the others. They will definitely become lonely. That's the first, that how they ruin their own happiness. And then when you see, okay, let's say that I am assuming that I have the best dressed in the town. Let's say if I see someone who is better than my dress, then, oh, outside you also still smiling, I know, but inside you're burning yourself. Oh, right? Simple. This is quite often happening in our day-to-day life. And likewise, the best computer. If I carry this evil pride that I have a best computer, then as soon as I see someone have a better than me, again, you outlook, you still smile, but inside, all burning. You will unable to bear with it. That's how ruin happiness. Look, actually, you should be happy because you have the good dress, you have the good computer. Why you have to be number one? It's not a requirement. But when we carry this evil pride, then it will force us to be a number one. When we let our this evil pride to force to be a number one, and it will going to start ruin our pleasant. If you do not have that, yeah, you can enjoy dress nice, you can enjoy your nice computer, even other have or not have, doesn't matter, right? It's very simple. You can enjoy whatever you have. Likewise, kind of like when we carrying this, when I carry, for example, when I carry that I am the one, the most good looking person in this community. If I carry this evil pride within myself, and then as soon as I see someone who is a little bit good looking, immediately I start burning myself inside. But outside, maybe I will talk nice to him. And definitely people most of the time deliberate at that time, right? They deliberate that other person in a many various way. Sometimes they deliberate it with the way of showing support. Sometimes they deliberate very directly. Very directly means from the outlook being very negative. But someone from the outlook being very nice, but actually wants to fix. Deliberate. That's deliberating, right? Deliberate. So that deliberate, this is quite often happening, I think, among the young, actually most. Among the young, unfortunately, this age like a 15 and above until 30, this 15 years, there will going to be a lot of deliberate each other in the school, in a university. These challenge is always there because of they carry this evil pride all the time. They carry this evil pride with their dress, with their things, with their look, with their makeup, with their things, with their car, with their pen, even tiny with their purse. The purse we put the money. They will carry this pride with even with that purse, right? I have like a Liverton purse. I paid like 500 through to 1,200. My bag is cost like 3,000. As it's a Liverton. What is it? The company Livingstone, something like. I don't know. Nowadays, I know some of my friends they carry this bag, paying like a 3,000 for these small bags. This is all because of this evil pride, forcing them to spend that much money. Even they do not have enough, but they will spend to just to show off. And then those type of person, when they see someone who is carrying better than themselves, like let's say someone else is carrying $4,000 cost back, then start burning. Sir, especially in this, just like a youth time, this kind of pride problem is so strong there. We youth needs to pay more about this, to not to have this evil pride. It is very much going to ruin our happiness. That's exactly what Shantideva was saying here. It will going to ruin our happiness. It will going to destroy the human pleasant. Even those person who think themselves is so high, for let's say for instance, even when they sit somewhere, they will going to sit on the best spot. They need to have the best spot for them to sit. You see, that is all because of this evil pride, the arrogance. The person who have arrogance, when they work among the people, they will pull all other, I need to be in front. See, is that happy? It's not happy. By doing that, it is really ruin. It's really ruin our pleasant. Yes. That is why Shantideva here trying to shrink all this meaning in that short, saying the person who carries this evil pride, the consequences of it could be destroy your human pleasant. So now, what is human pleasant? So these all human pleasant, right? You have a nice bird. You can have that human pleasant, right? But having this nice bag with the carrying this, I have a best bag, that emotion, that sense, is this something that we should reduce? It is not saying that we are not allowed to carry the nice bag. It's okay to carry the nice bag. What's wrong? As long as you don't carry that sense of I have the best bag, then should be okay. But when we carry the best bag, that also triggers to have it that sense that I have a best bag. That's unfortunately. We do not know that skills that I can carry this best bag, but without having the sense of that I am having best bag. That skill we are missing. When we miss this skill, then carrying best bag with the having that sense that I have a best bag. When we carry that sense will going to be ruin our happiness. As I just give you an example less before that. As soon as you see someone who is carrying better than your bag, then you ruin your happiness. Then you lost your pleasant of carrying this best bag. You will not going to enjoy anymore that you have a best bag. Right? You have a better bag. But when you do not carry that sense that I have a best bag, when you remove this sense, but carry that bag, and you will going to have this human pleasant, oh, I have a nice bag. Even you see someone who is carrying better than you, but still you enjoy yourself. It will not going to ruin your pleasant. You understand what I mean? That's why this Mahayana path, so skilled. There's so many tricky ways that you can do so many things with the less, with the not carrying the sense together. That's why this Mahayana path is the win-win situation. If one very able to implement it, properly able to implement it, then there is a win-win situations. That's the idea that Buddha showed us. But this is so difficult to understand, right? And yes, let's say that it is difficult to understand. How? Let me tell you this one. You just simply don't talk too much. You just tell someone, you carry this best bag in the town. Okay, you carry. But You should not carry that sense that you have a best back in the town. If you say this to anyone, and they will going to look at you, are you crazy? I'm carrying the best bag, and then I do not have a sense of I'm carrying best bag. What do you mean? You see, this skill idea to the many people, they feel crazy. This is impossible. But actually, it is possible. It is difficult, yes. I'm not saying it is easy to do this. Rather than this, it is much more easier to do that. Don't buy at all the bag. Then you don't have any sense about that. That's the easiest way that we can do it. But there is a way that you can also do it without carrying that pride, evil pride, but having this best back. You still can enjoy that human pleasant. In short, this when we let ourselves overpowered by this evil pride, that's how it will going to ruin our human pleasant, ruin our happiness. That's the second consequences of carrying this evil pride. That's what Shantideva introducing here. And then Shenji Sesai Tendanis. And then this is also another consequences could be experienced by through this carrying this by carrying this evil pride is where is it? 57, yeah. Thus, one is born a slave, dependent for one's sustenance. That is now I didn't get it. Shantideva was saying this could be also the consequences of it. Yes, by how this pride drive that. How this evil pride will drive that. I need to re-contemplate very carefully here. That I can easily understand those above two consequences. But now this third consequences, which Shantideva was saying, that the person who carries this evil pride may experience the consequences of, thus one is born a slave, dependent for one's sustenance. That I have to reflect now. I have to rethink this, how it drives. I don't have idea right now at this time. But Shantideva was saying so far, yes, these guys are so smart. If Shantideva is there, if I raise this question, he will definitely answer this, how it drive. Could be right now. There could be. We can also study about it now. See. But I do not really exactly get it 100%. But now this is, I'm just believing in his word now. He said so now. Now I'm just leaving this on he said so. I don't know. Logically, I didn't get it. If any of you get it, please let me know how this third consequences could be experienced by carrying this evil pride. Okay? So above two things, yes, I'm also depending on his words, as well as I also understand, I could understand by my logic as well. The third one, I didn't quite get it. I get it a little bit, so it's better not to try to explain. It will going to make confuse. Just let it be with his words. He said so. Okay, now here I will going to be like, he said so. And then the lemba miduk nyamchungdang. Thamje dunenge berjurs, that another consequences, which is or feeble mind, ugly without strength, the butt and laughing stock of everyone. That is really truth. People will laugh and deliberate and disdain to those persons who being so arrogant and so pride. They tease them, yes, right? And then this lemba. Now this is something, lemba, I think they translated like feeble-minded. The feeble-minded. The feeble-minded means that it's very, what do you call it? How to describe?
Feeble-minded, it's complex, but the feeble-minded means you're unable to make
Kind of like, it is kind of like a saying here, barbarian, uneducated, uneducated. Yes, this is exactly we have saying. We used to say, ngajal ji gongbu la yenden ji chumi cha. Understand what it means in Tibetan? Ngajal ji gongbu la yenden ji chumi cha. The evil pride, it's like a ball. Okay, it's like a ball. So there are no way water goes in. It's like a, on the other hand, we can also call like a storm. Evil pride, it's like a storm. No matter how much you sink in the ocean, eons and eons, it will not going to even get a one single wet inside. Right? That's what it means, lemba. The person who carries this evil pride become uneducated, become unintelligent, become foolish, in short, no wise. That's what it means, lempa, feeble mind. They translated feeble mind. In Tibetan, we call lempa. Lempa means like a dumb, uneducated. In short, is uneducated. The uneducated, the consequences of uneducated could bring by carrying this evil pride. And then this miduk means ugly. Ugly not necessarily look ugly, but even though how much you are good looking doesn't matter. And whenever you have, as when everybody knows you are so arrogant, oh, people will go to say, whenever talk about this person, oh, please, they will say that. This ugly does not mean that you have a bad eye and zigzag nose, and this is not ugly. Okay, this is not talking about that ugly. This ugly talking about your quality ugly. Okay. This evil pride makes your character ugly, makes your attitude and behave ugly. When your behave and attitude ugly, everybody will going to be abandoned, right? And without strength, yeah. Without support, no strength. Everybody will going to abandon, right? The butt and the laughing stock of everyone. Yeah, I can see. I just experienced this recently, that someone who carried this so arrogant, very become laughable. Yes. We're just laughing by watching that, seeing that. Yes, that object become laughable stroke because he or she is being arrogant. Simple. He or she is carrying this evil pride. That's why he or she become the laughable stroke, right? Laughing stroke of everyone. Yeah, everyone laughs on it. Person who have this arrogance, evil pride, they do so many nonsense things, and everybody laugh. Yes. So okay, so these are the consequences could bring by carrying this evil pride, arrogance. Okay, so therefore, if anyone who does not want to experience any of those four consequences above mentioned, better not to carry this evil pride then. Better not to carry this arrogance. But pride of ability, it's not contradicting. Okay? So that needs to be make distinguish here. Shantideva trying to making distinguish between these two. These two can misunderstood, yes. Therefore, he is making this the distinguish between these two. Okay, so today time off, so we may stop here at stanza what? 58, half of the 58. Okay, thank you. Now we do dedication. Nōngō zanamde tamje zebanye tomne nyeben ranam pamje ne shega nanje walan chubaye seben solendo ando warsho jambal jedra kembanda kundo zambo deyan de jende de da kunje jeson da lovji Gewan de da tamje radumo, gewan de yeshe wokun, sanam yeshe tsozone, sanam yeshe le jungwe, tamba kunyin to barasho, sanje kusum nyepe chenlan, chunyi minjur dembe chenlan dan, gendin mechen dembe chenlan je, jedra ngowa melam do barasho. Read in English. By this beneficial activity, may I obtain omniscience, and having vanquished the harmful enemies, greed, anger, delusion, may I liberate all being tossed about helplessly by the waves of birth, aging, illness, and death in the ocean of becoming. By conforming to the knowledge of courageous Manjushri, Jambalyang, and in the same way as Samindabhadra, Kundusambo, and following their example, I dedicate perfectly all this virtue. By this virtue, may all being perfectly achieve the accumulation of merit, Swanam, and wisdom, Yeshe, and may they thereafter obtain the two holy bodies, which result from these two accumulation. By the blessing of the Buddha Sanjay, who obtained the three bodies, by the blessing of the immutable truth of the Dharmada, Chunyi, by the blessing of the infallible aspiration of the Sangha, Gendun, may this prayer of dedication be accomplished just as it is. Thank you. Have a good day. See you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Tukul. See you.